Many of us on the left have complicated feelings towards Labour under Keir Starmer, but watching their landslide 412 seats come through one by one on election night, I mean, it was quite enjoyable. Let's just take a little moment to just remember that feeling.
Yeah, and I guess in some ways the biggest story is that Liz Truss lost her seat. I mean, that's kind of unprecedented in recent political history, that the most recent Prime Minister, apart from the one actually running in the election, would lose their seat. But, there was Penny Mordaunt, Grant Shapps losing their seat. Most delightfully, for those of us with a slightly longer term view of British political history, Jacob Rees-Mogg losing his seat whilst stood next to a man dressed as baked beans.
And we know how y'all feel about them baked beans. You want them everywhere, any place, anytime.
Just to be clear, the man dressed as baked beans did not win. Rees-Mogg lost to his Labour opponent. It wasn't just the Labour Party that had a great night. The Liberal Democrats won their most number of seats ever with 72. The Green Party took 4 seats and 6 seats went to independents, including the former Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, I think if you are progressive, whether you were supporting the Greens or independents, there was lots to be happy about. I had a Jaeger bomb for every Tory MP that I really particularly hated losing their seat.
Did you really?
Well, I tried to. I don't really remember a lot of it.
You had 412 Jaeger bombs.
No, I didn't. But
just the most loathsome leader.
Just the most
which
loathsome
is like
ones.
419 Jaeger bombs.
So, presumably Rees-Mogg, Truss, surely they were Jaeger bomb.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And when the exit poll first came in, I had a Jaeger bomb.
Oh, really?
Just to see the Tories decimated.
I do actually remember the next day you were, I would say, a little fragile.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There was another electoral success story that we absolutely should not overlook, because it could be one that continues to shape the narrative of politics in this country for years to come. We obviously have to mention the Reform success in the election. But before we do that, let's just revisit Nigel Farage getting milkshaked while campaigning in Clacton.
You got what seems like a milkshake thrown at you. Was that what it was?
I don't know what was thrown at me, but it hit me in the face, fair and square. Quite frightening.
Fair and square's the right phrase, actually.
Would you like to go ahead and take that? I don't know what it is, but it hit me right in the face, Liz. I feel like it's Christmas.
No, I can't think of anything that reminds me of.
Yes, so that's right. That was Nigel Farage talking about getting milkshaked for a second time, sort of presenting it like it was his own personal Donald Trump ear bandage moment. Unfortunately, Farage went on to win his seat in Clacton. We've also just heard that confirmation overnight that the undisputed villain of the year, Elon Musk, is backing Reform with speculation of a donation in sort of millions of pounds after there was a meeting between him, Nigel Farage, and the new party treasurer, Nick Candy, at Donald Trump's Florida resort, Mar-a-Lago. That is fairly concerning,
Deeply.
Right? Like,
yes.
Reform won the third largest share of the popular vote, 14.3%. And it's striking that that's about 2% more than the Liberal Democrats. But because of our screwy electoral system, the Lib Dems won more than 14 times the number of seats as Reform. Liz, in the midst of it being obviously profoundly funny that the Conservative Party suffered so badly, it potentially is a concern that Reform did so well. And I only say that because Reform seems to be inviting further political influence from Elon Musk into this country, which I don't think is necessarily something that is beneficial for our democracy.
I mean, it's a pretty strange type of scenario where there's really nothing that we can do about it, but the richest man in the world might decide to bankroll what is still, they did get a big share, and they do well in the opinion polls in UK politics, but they're not hugely represented in Parliament, and he's going to funnel cash into them. I mean, usually I'm old enough to remember when people used to do this kind of behind the scenes because it wasn't considered legit to just throw money at a political party and try to swing an election. But apparently now it is. I think it will have a huge, huge sway on the next election. It's still a long way away. I could see a scenario where, Reform break through in a big way in the UK. Seriously. And the money that Elon Musk and people like him, I mean, Nick Candy is a big donor as well, that they will provide will be decisive in that. And so we're basically at the whim of of billionaires and whatever they feel like, but I mean, Elon Musk feels like he's just in his kind of, I want to fuck with the world era. And this is the way that I'm going to do it today.
I'm gonna fuck with the world because it means I'll get whatever I want for my, he makes money off of, working different government deals and whatever to just rake up more money for like the things that he wants to create. And like literally whatever millions he's giving to reform is like the equivalent of Rishi Sunak's 1,000 pound charity donation. But what he gets for that is just carte blanche to walk in and be like, here's what you need to do. Because like there were a lot of things that I'm coming to understand as someone who's only been here for a decade now that are like, common practice, but not written down anywhere as law. Yeah. And it's very easy for all of the stuff that like, MAGA wants to do in America to start coming over here. There are plenty of people who want that, although MBUGA is not as good an acronym.